Hey everybody, welcome back to the A to Jump podcast. My name is Jake of Gooba and Jetpack. I'm the Gooba half of that, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Justin of Justin Games. Justin, how you doing today?
It is I. I'm here. I'm
You
good.
That is you.
That is me. I think we did the same thing on the last one.
Something like that, yeah.
I think you said the exact same thing. Oops.
That's right. We're inspired by each other, we'll say that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Jake, we finally got some news.
Yeah.
This week or whatever. I wouldn't exactly call it good news or bad news. It's news. And then after some of that update, we're going to get into what we would change about our favorite franchises. We obviously love our favorite games a lot, but there's always something we can do better. We're going to do that. And then we have a new segment, I don't even know what you want to call it. Segment we're calling Random Reviews, name pending, where we have a big fancy spreadsheet and Jake and I are going to pick random games randomly. And we got to make a review on these random games.
Yeah.
Should be fun.
Yeah.
But first, I was cruising around the A to Jump YouTube studio section earlier today, and I noticed we had a comment on our very first video that I guess neither of us noticed, which is sad. But I want to get to that first. So if you stumble on this video and you like video games, feel free to leave us a comment, and we'll read it. We'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
Yeah, we'll give you a little shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. So that comment was from Rebecca Carr, which may be a name that sounds familiar to you.
We might know each other.
She said, "I'd be interested to see how your most anticipated games met or missed each of your expectations." So if you remember in that first episode, we talked about in June of last year, our most anticipated games for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That was uploaded on June 26th. I don't think we recorded it on June 26th, but it was close.
It was sometime around then.
You mentioned you had 473 subscribers.
Wow. Yeah.
At that time. Yeah. And I think you're over 750 now.
745 or something.
Look at that.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, you came quite a long way in 6-7 months.
It's been a crazy few months, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mentioned I had 9. I now have 13.
Look at that.
Look at me go, baby.
Exponential growth.
But yes, okay. So we talked about a few things in that. But what Rebecca's asking about was our top 5. Do you remember? Of course you don't remember. But I'm going to go through what your top 5 were, and you can tell me if they met or missed your expectations.
Okay. I think I remember some, but yeah.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
Some of these didn't come out, but whatever. Number 5 was Stray. I know you like that, right?
I did enjoy that one. I wouldn't say it was... I think it met my expectations. I don't think I was expecting it to be like a groundbreaking advancement in games. I just thought it'd be a fun game where you play as a cat and
it sure was.
That's what we got. But
beautiful.
Yeah, I would say it lived up. Looked good. It was fun to play. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Number 4 was Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Did it come out? I don't even think
it didn't. It didn't come out.
Okay.
I looked it up. It still has a release date of 2023.
Okay.
You can look forward to that this year.
Yeah.
Your number 3 was Forspoken. Also didn't come out.
Nope.
Still not out.
Yeah. We'll get back to that sometime. Or whenever it releases.
This month, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Clearly I have not paid attention.
Okay. Number 2 was Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
Also didn't come out.
Yep. That one's
And your
another
number one
delay.
was God of War.
It was, and it very quickly took the spot as my number one game that I played last year. So,
Oh.
um, I think that probably answers, how I
I
felt
think
about
it
it.
I think it met at least met some expectations.
Yeah, I would say so. The only issue that game had is that my expectations were at the ceiling. But luckily, it's a pretty tall game, so
Yeah.
it.
And I think we really dove into that in the last episode where my expectations I think were just too high and I got let down. But yeah, okay. My number 5 was Sea of Stars. Didn't come out. That's a old school art style JRPG. My number 4 was God of War. And number 3 was Marvel Midnight Suns, which did come out, but I didn't play
Yeah,
because life.
yeah,
My
I get
number
that.
2 was Forspoken, which I was kind of surprised. I've I guess I've just cooled off a lot on that game. The more I've seen, the less I've liked.
Yeah, with all the news that's come out about the game and
Yeah,
the studio,
it's
it's kind of
and they
fizzled a little
just
bit.
and they're I don't know how much you know about like the writers that wrote this game. Is Gary Whitta, who was in he wrote Rogue One, Star Wars
Oh,
movie,
okay.
and then oh god, Amy Hennig. She's a big time game writer, and I'm gonna forget what I think she was. I'm gonna butcher.
Oh, she had
Yeah, she was
some work in
okay.
Uncharted.
Yes, okay, that's what she's kind of most famous for.
Okay.
Uncharted,
I
yeah.
knew that name sounded familiar. Okay.
And then and then she's one of the writers on Forspoken, but it was kind of weird. Like they both maybe this is pretty traditional, but they both like Gary Wood and Amy Hennig, and there's a few others wrote the game, and then they just like left and had nothing to do with it after that. Which
hmm
I mean that maybe that's normal, but it just seems strange. So they're
Yeah.
putting a lot of weight on this story, and I don't know. We'll see. And then my number 1 was Fire Emblem Three Hopes, which was the Dynasty Warrior style Fire Emblem spinoff, which I did play and I really liked.
Good.
That exceeded my expectations. But it's a huge game that you could probably put 500 hours in and not beat it. I played like 30, 40 hours and liked it a lot.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so we answered Rebecca's question.
Yeah.
Again, if you feel like having a something discussed on our podcast, leave a comment. We'll talk about it.
We promise we will see it
This,
before 6 months.
yes, we will. Both of us will be checking more often. um, I know we talked a little bit before we started recording, Jake, about what we've been playing. And you said you haven't been doing much, but I'm playing through Near Automata on my channel,
hmm
and that game came out in 2018, 2017, somewhere around there. So
Something
it's an
like
older
that.
game.
hmm
It's an older game. And I went this whole time basically knowing nothing about it.
hmm
I knew it was androids and there was robots and stuff, but I knew no story details. And before I started playing it, I checked the how long to beat, and it said like 30 hours if you cruise through the main story, 60 hours if you do a little bit of side stuff.
Yeah, it's a big
So
game.
yeah, I was expecting huge JRPG, and I'm playing through it, and it's setting up really big characters really fast, and big story moments are happening so soon. And I like you can hear it in my videos. I'm just saying, where is the story going? Like we're meeting these basically gods,
Mm-hmm.
um, like 8 hours into the game, and I'm so confused. Like, how are we going 25 more hours, knowing all the stuff that we know?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this will be kind of light spoilers, but um, I finished the game. I'm like, or I'm still playing, and then like 12 hours in, I'm struggling on this boss, and it's probably the hardest boss fight I've ever had in a video game.
Really?
Yeah, I I had to put like a montage of deaths in the video because otherwise it would have been too. I had to take a break. I was dying so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's in my video. It's just cut death, cut death, cut death, cut death, cut death. You can. I leave some of my frustration noises in there too, so you can really feel my pain.
Mm-hmm.
But I say at one point, I'm like, I would guess this is the final boss, as hard as this sequence has been.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm only like 10 hours in, so I'm just so confused. And then like I won't spoil like what happens, but there's like a definitive ending. Like and then credits start rolling. And I'm flabbergasted for the lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
Like no way I cruised to this 30-hour game in 10 hours. What did I skip a bunch of stuff? Turns out this game has like 20 different endings.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that?
I did. So I've
That's
never
amazing.
played it. I
Right.
watched a review on it and they talked about that. How I think there's a different ending for every single letter of the alphabet.
Okay, yeah. I think you're right.
And like uh there's one you can get. I don't think this is spoilers, but you can actually go into the menu and remove your uh your character's AI, and it essentially
Yes.
kills them, and you get a credit roll from that too.
I saw that. It's like I saw that there's a chip that says if you remove this, you'll surely die. I'm like, well, I'm not removing that. So I mean, I guess that's one ending.
Yeah.
It was insane. And then today, I'm listening to a podcast, and they start talking about Nier Automata and how many endings it has. I'm like, how did I go 5 6 years without knowing anything about this game, and then the moment I do, I hear it. It was wild.
Yeah.
So I got through one ending, and then it immediately starts to into the next campaign through a different perspective, and I can
Okay.
definitely see how they're gonna do that. You meet a lot of characters, and oh, that game is so cool. I have so many questions about how this world came to be.
Mhm.
It's really cool.
Yeah. I'll need to look closer into that one because it
You,
always looked interesting, but I kind of, you know,
well, I
I
mean,
don't I don't know if it's really my style necessarily, but
well, I went into it thinking this is gonna be one of the most Japanese JRPGs I've ever played. You know, like Persona level of tinkering and
mhm.
immersion. I don't know what word I really want to use, but it's not. I would say it's far more action RPG.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, with a little bit of souls thrown in
Okay.
there. Not big time. Like if you die, you have to start. You have to start from your last save point. You have to go try and find your body. Otherwise, you lose all your stuff.
Mhm.
That's kind of the only element that it has, and it's difficult. Like
Yeah.
I got mad a lot. I don't like getting mad at games, but that game made. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. It's a lot of fun. I'm excited to play it later tonight. Actually,
Yeah.
what about you? What have you been playing?
Uh I have not been a good gamer this week.
That's
All I've
okay.
really been playing is a little bit of Modern Warfare here and there.
Hmm.
Um, which I mean, you know from years of playing Modern Warfare, that's a game that you enjoy sometimes and then Other times you want to throw your console through a wall.
Most biggest reason why I don't play shooters anymore.
Like it's fun, and like Becca, aka Jetpack, and I have been playing together, um, and we're having a good time. But we're both just like yelling back and forth, like at some points because like
What else are you supposed to
the
do while playing Call of Duty?
yeah, I guess so. Like our
Making
neighbors
fun of kids'
probably,
moms.
but like it's just I always blame it on the maps because I do think they
Yes.
could be like, but I don't know. It's I don't know what to blame it on. Anything but my own skill. Um,
Exactly. Yeah, it's
but
never your fault.
it just seems like every time I get into a lobby, it's like, um, oh, there's someone like just hiding behind a corner with a shotgun, or there's a
Yeah.
guy like up on a roof with a sniper and he's fully protected, so like you don't have a chance to get to him.
Hmm.
Um, but then there's also those moments where like where the game comes together and you get like a kill streak and you're like, okay, now I'm having fun.
Look at me, I'm good.
And the entire time you're playing, you're just kind of chasing that high of like, oh, like if only I can get back to a kill streak and fun things will happen.
Right. Do you? I I played Modern Warfare 3 entirely more than I'd like to admit. Have
Oh
you
yeah.
played a lot of Call of Duty? Since way back in the day.
Um. Yeah. For a time, I was like an every game, uh, like pre-order. I used to go to the midnight releases all the time. Um. Probably around. Well, I know Advanced Warfare was the first one to really be like, okay, this is kind of falling off for me.
Hmm.
Um, I thought Black Ops 3 was absolute dog shit. Um, and then Infinite Warfare was the one that really like broke my spirit because all I'd been saying for years at that point is like, don't go futuristic. It doesn't work. It's not what Call of Duty's about. Just like,
And off they went to the
yeah,
future.
they went right into space with Jon Snow. And uh it was just, oh, that game was so disappointing. And from there I kind of like cautiously would get into it. Like if I heard a game was doing well or if I had friends that were playing it, I was like, all right, I'll check it out.
Hmm.
um and then Modern Warfare 2019 came out, and that one I really enjoyed. It had a good
Yeah,
campaign.
I played a
Multiplayer was
little bit of
fun.
that.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed that one quite a bit. I played a lot of it. And then when Warzone initially came out, um, I actually played a fair bit of that too because it was right after quarantine, so I didn't really have
Hmm.
much else to do besides play Warzone and Animal Crossing, and
Two very different games.
very much so. But yeah, that was what I did for for a while there. Um, so to very long-windedly answer your question, I have played some Call of Duty in the last few years.
Perfect. All right. Well, this year's gonna be crazy for games. So
Oh yeah.
hopefully we get to play as many as we can. But okay, let's dive into some news. Of kind of the first, I don't know, quote unquote, big news of the year. Ubisoft cancels 3 unannounced games. Yep.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm super surprised. And they also
No.
said that Skull and Bones delayed again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the 6th time it's been delayed.
I feel like that's kind of just the tone that everyone has when they talk about Ubisoft now. It's like, yeah, Ubisoft did some stuff, and like,
Ubisoft was really good, I don't know, 10 years ago, and they like
mhm.
made these really cool open world games, and then everybody started making cool open world games. Ubisoft kind of fell to the bottom of that tier of open world games.
Well, I think what kind of did them in was they, instead of, trying to do something new, um, they just kind of had the titles that made them successful and just drove them all into the ground. It's like
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed was very successful, and it still,
Yeah.
it still has
Yeah, it's
a
still doing
pretty
fine,
hefty
but
following, but they didn't really do anything like, well, I shouldn't say that. Like they did change up the game a lot, but um
maybe not in a way that
like
worked.
yeah, like I think they reached a new audience sort of, but they lost a lot of the old audience.
Yeah.
And Far Cry, god, like that one makes me sad cuz Far Cry 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. I thought that
Yeah, and I
was fantastic.
see that's kind of the point I'm getting at about 10 years ago.
Mhm.
When
Yeah.
Far Cry 3 came out, when Assassin's Creed Brotherhood came out, or even as close as Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Yeah.
I mean, they knew what they were doing back then, and then just every release after that got worse and worse.
Mhm. And going through their announcement um right now where they're talking about these games that they canceled and how they want to focus on the franchises that have gotten them to where they are. I'm like, yeah, I get that, but why can't you try something new? Like, I think
I, they're
it's
trying the new Avatar game
yeah.
that I'm forgetting the name of, something of Pandora.
Yeah, I don't
So that's
remember.
yeah, me neither. Oops. Um, yeah, I can't find it. But that's probably their newest one that I want to pay attention to,
Mhm.
but I don't know. Um, the part that kind of got me here was this quote. The company cites major challenges as the industry continues to shift towards mega brands and long-lasting titles that can reach players across the globe, across platforms and business models. It says over the last 4 years, its strategy has been about building long-lasting live games and adapting our strongest franchises. And I don't know why that. Okay, however, the games from this investment phase have yet to be released, while our recent launches have not performed as well as expected. And it's just, I don't know why this bothers me. But it's like you release 10,000 games in a year that just don't click right. I don't
Yeah.
know.
They feel rushed. They don't feel like they're trying to break new ground with it. Like Assassin's Creed aside, because I know they've tried to do some new things with that, like, but Far Cry and the Tom Clancy games and stuff, like, they don't feel like they're doing anything differently.
And the
Like,
problem, well, when they, it was like Ghost Recon Breakpoint was
mhm.
supposed to be as a big live game, and that's the game that they tried to introduce NFTs into, and the whole internet just threw tomatoes at them,
Yeah,
and they had to get rid of it. Like, think how much money they probably put into that project, how
oh,
much time they wasted, and so I mean,
millions.
yeah. And if they just, you know, and I meant to look it up. Darn it, there was a quote from a Ubisoft executive, I think, who got really pissy about the fact that gamers didn't want NFTs in their game, and he's just like, he said something along the lines of, now they just can't have it or something like that.
Yeah,
It's like, we didn't want it, dude. It's
yeah.
like, it's like the gamers were unwilling to get with Web3 or whatever. I meant to look it up, but I've I forgot. But yeah, so 3 unannounced games. I don't know how. I'm not that heartbroken.
It
I
just feels
am.
like more of the same, honestly.
Yeah, I am looking forward to Assassin's Creed Mirage. I'm
Yeah.
hoping that can be a real big turnaround for that franchise.
Hmm.
Skull and Bones is so interesting.
Yeah.
That got announced in like 2014 or something like that,
It's a long time that
and then
they've
it
been talking
was.
about that one.
Over the summer they said it would come out in like November, and then like a month before that, then they changed it to soon, and then they just delayed it again, basically indefinitely. I think till 2024, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I if we were to look at that with any glimmer of hope, it would be they've thrown all these other games off the table that they knew were going to be rushed,
Yeah,
and they're just like, you know what, we're focusing on too much, let's dial it back. let's we'll Maybe Skull and Bones is not in a good state right now, so they're saying, okay, let's just focus on that. Like, I mean, obviously they have like 5 different studios, so they probably are working on everything, but
yeah,
they
way more
can,
than 5, I think.
yeah, they can
But
put a
sorry, go ahead.
lot more resources into, like, let's make this is the game that we've announced that people are anticipating. Like, we can't fuck this up, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if that's how they're thinking about it. It kind of, Steve, the thing that bothers me about the quote that you read, um, like, hold on, where'd it go? Uh, Trying to turn their stuff into like long lasting franchises, that just reeks of like trying to be Fortnite to me.
Yeah,
Like,
it's so hard to do that successfully.
mm-hmm,
Like, I don't play a lot of Destiny, but I know a couple people that really do like Destiny,
yeah,
and that's one of the most successful games that do it.
mm-hmm,
And Destiny 2 players still don't like it. So
yeah,
it's like it's it's so hard to get into that live service. Fortnite does it, I mean, better than anybody.
yeah.
Um, Final Fantasy 14 also, but I don't know. Ubisoft just didn't have it.
I
Couldn't
think what
figure it out.
I think what made Ubisoft successful was the variety of games that they had. Because
True.
if you go back like 15, 20 years back, like, you can find games that they published that you had no idea.
Hmm.
Um, like, I forget, I played some game back from like PS2 that I don't even remember what it was, but it was a Ubisoft game. I was like, how would that? I did not even know that. And I think where they're uh where they're going wrong here is that they're trying to just focus on these games alone and just building them up to be like the top franchises when they could do something new. They could, like, they have a big enough name and they have enough resources to put something out that we haven't seen before, and I think it could be successful. But they just want to, keep
It's all about the
getting
money.
that money.
Those live service games make a lot of money if you do them right, but
Yeah.
they haven't figured it out.
Yep.
Okay, so that's enough about depressing Ubisoft. Let's move on to Xbox and Bethesda.
Yay.
So, there is a Xbox and Bethesda developer direct coming January 25th. I'm guessing just we as a gaming industry have taken the word direct and just made it mean game trailers,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the same thing Nintendo calls it too.
Yep.
So I don't know how Xbox and Bethesda got away with doing that.
Yep.
It says a new game showcase providing fans an inside look at some of the games coming to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass over the next few months. They did say Um, Starfall will not be part of that, but it's going to get its own Bethesda Direct
Okay.
at a later date. So I guess we're looking forward to studios like Arcane Austin, which I think is the name of the game they're working on. That co-op shooter
Are
that I
they the
can't
ones doing
remember.
Redfall?
Redfall, there it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Mojang Studios, which is Minecraft, which I think they have Minecraft Dungeons. Probably see that.
Mm-hmm.
Turn 10 Studios, which is the Forza studio,
Yeah.
and ZeniMax Online, which is probably just Elder Scrolls Online. ZeniMax is the parent company to Bethesda. So a few exciting things.
Yeah. I would say so.
Um, I'm looking forward to seeing learning more about Starfield.
Yeah. I think that's I'm glad that's gonna get its own
Yeah,
showcase. I hope that they uh have um enough worked out to make it an exciting update. Um
yeah. I mean, hopefully we can get a release date. I mean, soon.
yeah.
Supposed to
Didn't
come out this year.
mm-hmm. Yeah, in terms of the this direct, really the only one that I'm super excited for is Redfall.
Really?
Um, that one, yeah, that one actually, when it was first announced, I got excited about that just because it looked, it looked fun. It looked little bit weird. Um,
Yeah, I think it looked pretty cool.
yeah, and it was a co-op game. I don't get into much co-op, but that'd be a fun one to check out.
Right. Pretty sure that's coming out like really.
Yeah.
No, 2023.
Okay. Well,
I thought it had a release date. Unless Google just shows you 2023, doesn't show you a date.
yeah, I think if they had announced anything, it probably would have shown
You would
the
think.
date or fall or holiday 2023 or
Hmm.
whatever. Um,
Um, I d- I do miss I miss enjoying Forza. So I played a lot of Forza. I played the motorsport. I know like you and the rest of our friend group like the Horizon
mhm,
side of it, where it was mostly street racing. I played those too, but I really enjoyed the motorsport, the closed track racing.
mhm.
I played a lot of those. Those were fun. I don't know if I'd like them as much now, but I did back then.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I used to be really into racing games.
Hmm.
And I've played in some capacity all of the Forza Horizons because that was kind of the style of racing games I enjoyed more, like the open world kind of street racing, like car customization, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but now it's kind of turned into something where I'll get the new one when it comes out. I'll play it for a little bit. And I'll be like, "Oh, that's cool. It looks really nice." And uh, but then that's kind of it.
Yeah. Yep.
It doesn't really. It's not a long term game for me like it used to be.
Not having an Xbox since Xbox 360, I tried to get I think it's like Cars. Is it called Cars? Project
Project
Cars.
Cars.
Project Cars
Yeah.
2, I think. I
Mm-hmm.
got that whenever it came out several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I played it and like, yeah, cool. Never played it again. I
Yep.
played it one time. I'm like, yep, I don't think I like racing games anymore.
It's kind
And
of it's one of those things that now, like, especially with like Forza and Gran Turismo, it feels like it's more about how good it looks and the
yeah,
detail on the cars and everything than it is about the actual racing itself.
yeah,
Or that's how it feels to me
yeah.
anymore.
And that's what I enjoyed about it. I like the how creative they got with the races.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, yeah, that's just January 25th at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. Yeah,
Look forward to that.
I'll probably check that out.
Absolutely. Well, like you said, check out some Redfall stuff at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
See what's new with that.
Something I did want to bring up is they're dropping more stuff for Elder Scrolls Online, which
Mm-hmm.
they've been doing for several years now. Are they ever gonna get into Elder Scrolls 6? Like,
After Starfield.
oh wait, yeah, they did say
Yep.
that they were gonna. That's a well. That almost makes
Our,
me wonder why they even announced it to begin with.
just
Because
just to shut people up, man. That's it. I have a I have a friend that I work with. He doesn't play a lot of games, but he really loves Skyrim, and so did I. So we were talking when Elder Scrolls 6 got announced, and we both joked that our grandkids are going to be playing that with us. So it's you're not going to see that for a long time.
yeah,
Long,
which
long time.
yeah, that sounds about right. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
Okay. So that's Xbox Direct. I wanted. Did you? I wanted to bring up an update we got today. Did you play Pokemon Scarlet or Violet?
I did not.
Okay, I did. I have a weird relationship with Pokemon that I love them. I love Pokemon. I love the anime. I love cards, but I can't seem to seriously get into the games that much.
Mm-hmm.
But I buy every single one
Yeah.
and I play them for 10 hours and then get bored and quit. But Pokemon Scarlet and Violet released in a pretty bad state.
Yeah.
I think the backup camera on my 2015 Ford Focus has a better frame rate than that game. Um, but it didn't really take away any enjoyment for me. If as you're walking through the world, if you're looking in the distance, some of the characters are choppy, and then some of the Pokemon just pop out of the ground out of nowhere, like you don't see them.
Mm-hmm.
It's annoying, but it didn't ruin the experience for me. But they did announce that they're releasing an update um in February,
Okay.
and all they really said was various bug fixes and stuff like that. And it was pretty widely known and reported on that Scarlet and Violet was in a very poor state released,
Mm-hmm.
and Pokemon Company, Nintendo, Game Freak, radio silent, never said anything about, hey, we know things are bad. They just completely stayed quiet. So
Yep.
this is the first like news that we've gotten for them trying to fix anything.
Yeah.
So we will see if um, that fixes it. I mean, I have Violet. Whenever that release comes out, I'll definitely check it out. Check the game out again.
Yeah. I'm interested to see um, what all is done to it. I think I've made my thoughts on Pokemon pretty clear. Um,
Yep.
it's a series that I love, but I am forever disappointed by.
Yep.
Just, I mean, I made a whole video about Pokemon Legends, um, just about how Pokemon has all the money, all the resources in the world, to make the best like open world adventure game or RPG that we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they
And
continue to just put out yearly releases that are half baked, that don't do a whole lot of new things, and
yep.
it's just
Um.
kind of frustrating to see every
Honest.
time.
Honestly, these new games, Scarlet and Violet, besides the technical issues, I think it's fantastic.
Okay.
It's the open world. feels pretty open. I love the
Mm-hmm.
design of it. I think it works really well. You can go off and do gym battles. You can go off and fight titans. You can go off and do like the Team Star kind of raids almost.
Mm-hmm.
It works. It's really fun. I like it. And I know a lot of people just can't get over how how badly it runs.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to blame it all on the Pokemon Company or Game Freak or Nintendo, but because they're running on 2017 hardware, which
Yeah.
hasn't had an update, and so they're constantly trying to make these games bigger and better and bigger and better on almost 6-year old hardware at this point, very
Yeah.
close to 6-year old hardware. So that's, but I agree with you. There's no reason they they could have said Scarlet and Violet's, it's not coming out this year, not
Mm-hmm.
coming out in 2022, it's coming out in 2023, and nobody would have cared.
Yeah.
We had Arceus at the beginning of 2022. I think everybody would have been just fine if they
Yeah.
and waited, how whenever they wanted to do it and made it a little better, and that would have helped them. But
Yeah. And
it's Nintendo. They do what they want.
yeah. And Arceus, despite its flaws, was a good game.
Mhm.
It was fun. I enjoyed that more than I've enjoyed a Pokemon in a long time. I
Mhm.
think they could have, you know, just ridden that out for the rest of the year, like because they announced Scarlet and Violet like 2 months after Arceus came out.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
it was kind of
they knew
like
it wasn't going to be good.
yeah.
I don't know. You didn't have to. You didn't have to, Nintendo. You didn't have to.
Nintendo, if you're watching this, you don't have to. You don't have to do it.
You don't
Just
have to. We love you. We love Pokemon. Just take your time. Good.
yeah.
Every developer out there, you don't have to.
You just do go at your own pace.
Exactly. Don't crunch your employees.
Yeah.
Let them take your time.
Give people time off.
Yeah. Yes. Please. Okay, so that kind of wraps up news.
Yeah.
Um, so next we are going to dive into what we would want to change about our favorite franchises. And I think this is more of a magic genie in a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing that we would want the most. Not that we expect this to happen, but it's that they want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Do you want to go back and forth? You just want to do all yours first? How do you want to do it?
We can go back and forth. We can.
Yeah.
I'll,
Why don't you go? You go first.
okay. So the first one that I wanted to bring up is The Last of Us 2.
Okay.
Well, I guess The Last of Us franchise in general.
Yeah.
It
I,
is.
I I didn't know if we wanted to get specific games or franchises. It doesn't matter.
I think
Same thing.
I think I'm talking about the whole franchise, but
Okay.
for those of you who don't know, The Last of Us is my favorite series. Um, and there's a section in The Last of Us 2. I hope this isn't spoiler area, but there's a section where you are put into kind of an open zone, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're put into the city and you have like certain places that you need to get to. Like there's certain spots on the map that you have to explore in order to progress the story, but then there's also a couple little side areas and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally loved that section. Um, I know it. There's a lot of people that didn't. They kind of thought that because The Last of Us is such a story focused game that it just halted the pacing. Um, but I thought it was really fun, and I thought what they could do rather than just a linear like go here and then go here and then go here is to kind of give it a more open world feel. Um, so the way I kind of look at it is, um, we're gonna get into some minor spoilers here for The Last of Us 2.
Okay.
Your Ellie's going to Seattle to hunt down this group of people. Or she's trying to hunt down one person, but she's going to all of her friends to get information. And what I thought would be kind of cool is if they took that setup where you have to go find all of her friends to get to her, but you could do it in any order you wanted. So, like, there's a section where you go to an elementary school, and then there's another section where you go to a TV station. And if they could have just the entire map of Seattle open and you decide where you want to go. And there would obviously be, infected along the way, and there would be areas that, like, kind of side areas you can explore, and maybe even some like side bosses that you could go up against. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just, make it not as linear, um, and give you a little bit more choice in how you go about things.
Did
Um,
you did you play Deathloop at all?
I did a little bit.
It
Um,
kind it kind of maybe it's not super linear or open, but like you're kind of describing, I think, what Deathloop did, where you could, this whole world was yours and you had to like time travel to
mhm,
find these people that you needed to kill.
mhm.
So that, I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think that in Deathloop worked.
Mhm.
That was pretty neat.
Yeah.
But I
I
agree.
don't.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I don't. From what I've played, I don't know if Deathloop really hit what they were trying to, but I think that's kind of the vision that I would have for The Last of Us is, especially in The Last of Us 2, where you're kind of hunting down these people,
Mhm.
is to kind of give the player more choice in how they go about it. You can still have the ending somewhat the same, but
Yeah,
make your choices mean something. Um,
maybe in like the order that you
yeah, in the order
choose
that you go
to.
about things.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that would work pretty.
yeah. And then
I
just
like
one
that.
little extra
Mhm.
piece of that is figure out a way to make looting not so annoying.
Okay.
Like, right now, like, in The Last of Us, like, pick uh searching for supplies is very important. And I actually enjoy that part of it because you need every piece of equipment that you can find.
Right.
Um, but having to open up every cabinet, every drawer in a kitchen, and for some reason, opening the cabinets is like 3 times slower than any other exploration in the game.
Right. And half the drawers don't have anything in them.
Yeah, like, just, I don't know how you fix that. Just make
Something
it
else.
like you're going through these dilapidated houses, and Ellie is just like very carefully opening this kitchen cabinet.
Uh,
Swing that shit open.
what?
There's stuff in there.
Let's go. My favorite is like the meme where it's just like 3 boxes of ammo sitting on the ground and you can only pick up one bullet out of it or something like
Yep.
that. Like let's fix that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you didn't know, I have a hard time picking what my favorite franchise is, but Witcher 3 is definitely my favorite game with that didn't come out in 1997, being Final Fantasy 7.
Hmm.
So Witcher 3, not much gameplay wise I would change about that. Instead, I want it to get the Red Dead 2 treatment. I want to be fully immersed in that world. I want to be able to go into shops. I want to be able to flip through catalogs of weapons and stuff. I want to brush my horse and give him cool saddles. basically the most amount of customization possible. And I want to make my own Witcher armor. I want to wear a hat. I want just everything added into that game, and that would only make it better. Like I said, I can't think of anything gameplay wise I'd want to change. But yeah, just make it crazy, make it completely immersive. I wanna live in Novigrad and feel like I'm there every day. I wanna buy a house. I want to sleep in a bed. Well, you can do that. You'll see. But more than one house. That's what I want. Just
Okay.
full immersion.
I like that. I think it's I, I've never had that thought, but that makes a lot of sense. Like make it the um what's the world that they live in The Witcher? Is
They
there a name
call
for
it
it?
the continent. They
Oh,
call
okay.
it.
Just make it like the or the continent Red Dead Redemption
Yeah.
edition. Like
Yep.
so like
Exactly.
because there's a lot of stuff that you can do in that game, but you're right. There's not a whole lot of immersion when it comes to your character, like
Yeah.
the things you can do outside of side missions and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Just I want to customize everything. Uh, that's what I want.
Okay. Well, it's funny that you bring up Red Dead Redemption because my next thing that I would change um, is in Red Dead Redemption 2. Um, Red Dead Redemption is a new favorite of mine. I just played Red Dead 2 this past year for the first time. Absolutely loved the story and the characters, but I think they were kind of working in two different worlds when they created that game because the story missions are very linear. Um, there's there's not a whole lot that you can do to change up the way those play out. It's pretty much like you're gonna go here and you're gonna shoot some people and then you're gonna run away from the law or
Right. Pretty
like
much.
it pretty much ends up being like you meet someone somewhere, you follow them somewhere else, something goes wrong, you shoot people, you run away, and you go on with your day. Um, but I what I would like to see is more choice in how you go about not only those missions but the world, and also um, less hand holding when it comes to the side missions and things like that. So right now, it's that game is very reliant on the mini map, on checkpoints, and things like that. Like you have to do things in a certain order.
Hmm.
And I'm definitely not the first person to say this. There's been YouTube videos and stuff about it, but like you meet so many random people and they can tell you about like uh there's a house south of town that looks like this, and I hear that they are gun runners, you might be able to rob them or something like that. And rather than just being like, oh, okay, cool, so now I have to go and like there's a marker, or there's like a note in my codex, and there's a marker on my map now, and I could just you know put a waypoint on it and I go to it. I almost wish there was less of that. I wish it was more of like you have to pay attention to the things people say, and you go about it like you would have to in the 1890s.
Hmm.
They say like there's a place, or there's a house south of Strawberry with a white picket fence and a big tree. Like
Yep. And you just go find
you
that
go
house.
find that. Like you look at your map, but there's not a waypoint and there's not like an exact route you have to take.
And I think a fun part for that would be there's two houses with white picket fences
Yeah.
in a town south of Strawberry, and you hopefully you pick the right one.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun. That would be
Yeah.
cool.
because they put so much detail into that world, and like every, it's an absolutely enormous map,
Hmm.
and there's so much room for you to be able to really treat it like an old west, like the old west, and you have to figure things out on your own and like actually, survive out in the wild with just you and your horse.
Yeah.
And right now there's a lot of things in the game that kind of just pull you in the right direction, or pull you in the direction that they want you to take, when the entire premise of the game is kind of about freedom and being able to do things your own way.
Agree. I everything you just said, I want added to The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Just yeah, like you said, just less waypoints because that's what Witcher 3 does too. Just go here, look at this here. This is what you're looking for. But yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So my other favorite franchise, Final Fantasy, and I guess this might be kind of cheating, but I didn't know I wanted this until I started seeing Final Fantasy 16 stuff,
Okay.
which I really enjoyed Final Fantasy 15, but 16 seems to be going maybe back to their old ways of storytelling where it's full fantasy. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be any cars or, guns and stuff like that. We're going full fantasy. We've got kingdoms. We've got, you know, swords and shields and knights and cool stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And where Final Fantasy 15, its story was good and they tried really hard to make it good. Maybe fell a little short. Whereas I think 16's story is going to be completely epic.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get a lot of crossing paths, a lot of tough decisions to make and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to the epicness that I hope Final Fantasy 16 has, and just the new fantasy aspect of it. Where
Mm-hmm.
we're kind of going quote unquote medieval with everything now instead of kind of half fantasy, half modern.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah. So not even really like a thing that you would change. It's just something that you would like to see in the future,
yeah,
and that could, yeah, it seems like is happening. I mean, we don't
yeah.
know
Like I said,
too
that's
much
kind of
about it, but
it. Kind of might be cheating a little bit, but like Final Fantasy 15, yeah, pretty good. But I think it could have been better, and I think doing those doing those things, making the story just way bigger and with more hands in the pot, more this and that.
mm-hmm.
I think it'll make for a really really good game.
Yeah, I can definitely understand where you're coming from with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one more of my favorite franchises that I would just like some minor changes on, and it's God of War. Um, Now, I will preface by saying that I didn't play any of the original God of War games. My first one was 2018.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of consider it its own franchise in a way.
I do too.
Um, and
They're
I,
different enough.
yeah, I would say so. And I absolutely love the story of those games, and I do love the combat. But I think that it would benefit them to do away with some of just the standard enemy encounters. Um, like, there's certain enemies that are recycled throughout the entire game that you just, it feels like you can't go a couple minutes without running into another group of enemies that you just have to get rid of. And that's where it starts to feel a little repetitive to me. Um, and I think that they could, um, make things just a bit more interesting if rather than, having these encounters with the same enemies that we see all the time, throw in like some random, like boss fights or some challenge the player in another way. Because I think that it could add a little more variety to it. Um, make it like change the way that you play the game. Because when you're facing the same enemies over and over, that's when it starts to feel like button mashing.
Yep.
And, that's it kind of gets boring after a while. Like I want to, they already have like a lot of really impressive boss fights in the main game, but I think that they could do more to add some of them into the, it's not really open world, but into
Yeah, I know what you mean.
your path.
Hmm.
Um so that's more of just like a broad um change that I would make. It's not anything super specific. I
Hmm.
just think maybe less of the recycled enemies and more bosses.
Cool. You should try Horizon Forbidden West. Anyway,
All right.
so my last one is Assassin's Creed, which we kind of touched on a little bit earlier,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm really hoping with Mirage, with these three, the mythology trilogy is, I think they're known as huge epic games.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I wouldn't even use the word epic. Just huge, whole lot going on, whole lot to do. I want it tighter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it. I don't want less. I just want it. I want it tighter. I love having a ton of stuff to do in games, but I don't need an absolutely. I don't need a 1-to-1 replica of Greece
Mm-hmm.
or the Arctic or whatever. We can dwindle that down to a city or two or three, like in like the older Assassin's Creeds,
Mm-hmm.
and put a little bit more thought into what goes in there instead of having to ride a boat or a horse for 10 minutes to get to a side quest or something like that. Um, I want I want a huge focus on story. I want side quests to, kind of branch off from that main story, kind of like The Witcher 3 does, and just kind of, I don't know, I feel like we really got away from the main focus of that story and the in the last three games. So not just, a little bit more story. I want huge focus on story. I want, yeah, I don't know I want a good storytelling where I don't think those three games were set up to give good story. They were just
Mm-hmm.
too massive. I don't want less. I want tighter.
Mm-hmm.
You understand tighter? Okay. And then lose the RPG element. I guess I don't 100% know what I mean by that, but I don't want my skill tree. I don't want to spend skill points raising my ranged offense by 1.2% or whatever was in Valhalla.
Yeah.
It's like we can lose that. We don't need that stuff. I don't want to be I don't want I don't want my Assassin's Creed to be like a JRPG where I'm tinkering with everything all the
Mm-hmm.
time. I'm min-maxing things and stuff like that. Give me story and some badass combat.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
I'm 100% on board with all of that. And I feel like we've probably talked about it in some capacity before, but we obviously both have a long history with Assassin's Creed.
Hmm.
And I think where it lost us the last few entries was just that they were way more focused on just making it bigger and, you know, like more technical and more of an RPG when that wasn't what sold it in the first place. You know?
No, I agree. Yep. I
But
felt like it was a not a narrative experience, but more narrative than just full on 120-hour RPG.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think like the old games like Brotherhood and stuff, you could probably beat in what 15, 20 hours.
Probably something like that.
Probably close. Like that's a good amount of time to spend in a game.
Yeah.
Like I I feel like if they can do that with Mirage, like I said, it doesn't need I don't know. It doesn't need to be a 10-hour game, but it can be a 20, 25, 30-hour game and still be really 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 good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not every
But
game needs to be 100 hours.
no. And that goes back to Ubisoft's problem. They just made everything big as they could.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't work. Didn't work
Yeah.
out. Not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's our a few of our favorite franchises. There's probably more, but we could probably talk all day about that. So that's gonna bring us to our random reviews uh game thing. I don't know. All right, so to give some context, I spent entirely too long creating a spreadsheet. Um, what I did, if you're not familiar with the website called Deku Deals, Deku Deals.com, it's a fantastic website that keeps track of Nintendo Switch games and how often they go on sale, when they go on sale, and how they do Xbox and PlayStation Store too. Not even just the stores; they keep track of every single retail outlet,
Mm-hmm.
Amazon, GameStop, everything like that. It's a fantastic website. Create an account, add games you want to your wish list. They'll notify you with an email when that game goes on sale,
Okay.
and it's got a graph on there that shows you like how often they go on sale, stuff like that. It's really handy. I always look at that. So I made a spreadsheet from that. Um, some parameters on these games. They are all between $15 and $20. Some of them were on sale for $15 to $20. So we need to check when we get these random games
Mm-hmm.
to see if they actually are between that. Um,
Okay.
and I and I made sure they had a Metacritic score over 70%. I thought that would kind of not give us 2,000 games to pick from,
Mm-hmm.
and then B might eliminate some really weird games like some puzzle games or porn games or things that we don't want to play.
Yeah.
So I thought 70% was a good score kind of go off of.
Yeah. I think that has the opportunity for there to be a couple kind of hidden gems.
I agree. And that way we're not playing like a 40 Metacritic score. I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But okay. So here we go. There are, I forget what I
I think 330 games.
330 games.
And
So I have a random number generator that will generate a number between 1 330. Uh, who's gonna go first? Who's getting the first roll here?
um I suppose I will go first. Did we explain what we're doing with this at all?
Oh no, I didn't. Jesus, sorry. So what we do when we get this random game, when we get this game picked, as long as neither of us have played it, we can have heard of it, but we can't have played it. Uh, we have to write a review on it, but we'll talk about it on the podcast.
Mhm.
Basically, give a review of this game, and it's a way to, I don't know, maybe like you said, find some hidden gems that maybe we never would have otherwise found,
Yeah.
or the games are kind of meh, and we got to try and find a way to talk about them for
Yeah.
or however long. Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
I glanced over that,
It's all good.
but okay,
So
here
Am I going
You,
first or are you?
you can go first.
Okay.
So, all right, here we go. Between 1 and 330, you get number 15.
Number 15, that is Assault Android Cactus Plus.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's check it out. It is $20 in the eShop.
Okay.
Experience an arcade-style twin-stick shooter set in a vivid sci-fi universe. Junior Constable Cactus is outside her pay grade when she responds to a distress call and ends up stranded on a crippled space freighter under attack by its own robot workers. That doesn't sound half bad.
Yeah, I mean it from the looks of it, it actually looks pretty interesting. Probably
I
not
would
the type
agree.
of game I usually play, but that might be a good thing. Maybe it'll
Yeah,
broaden my
e-
horizons a little bit.
exactly. Twin-stick shooters, I think, are fun.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
I'm looking forward
I'm
to that.
gonna write that down. Salt, Salt Android Cactus Plus. Android Cactus. Got an 86 on Metacritic. It's a
That's
short
not bad.
game. Main story is only 3.5 hours. Extras 10 hours.
Okay.
Sweet. I'm gonna get some like RPG.
Like a
Okay.
70-hour game.
Yeah, great. I want to make sure it took the three. Okay, here we go. This is mine now.
Okay.
244. Shantae and the Seven Sirens.
All right.
Let's go. Okay. Described as an adventure platformer. Shantae is back in an all-new tropical adventure. In her fifth outing, the half-genie hero gains new fusion magic abilities to explore a vast sunken city, makes new half-genie friends, and battles the Seven Sirens in her biggest, most thrilling quest yet. Featuring multiple towns and more labyrinths than ever before, awesome aquatic journey full of danger and discovery awaits. Very
Okay.
pretty art. It's a good-looking art style.
Yeah.
Again, I don't really like platformers, so but that might be a good thing.
Yeah, I kind
Just
of
like you
do.
said. Shoot.
So I'm
Okay, well that's
interested to see
interesting.
what you have to say about this one.
Cool.
And it's normally a $30 game. It's on sale for 17, so
Well, I better snag it up then.
yeah.
Um, all that right. Seven Siren. Got it.
I've never even heard of this game, and there's five
Yeah,
uh
apparently.
there's five versions of it.
I mean, I will. I'll do my research here and figure out. Try and do the history of the franchise and stuff like that too. Came out in 2020.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested to see what comes of that.
Nice. Okay, so this will be fun. I will enjoy this. So I'm going to. Okay, we put our names in there.
Yeah. Feel there'd be a way to keep
Okay.
track.
Yeah, because I'm sure we'll. I mean, we'll keep doing this as long as we enjoy it.
Yeah.
But all right, I think that's an episode, my friend.
I think so.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching the A to Jump podcast. Hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, leave a comment down below, and we'll discuss it on the next episode as long as it's civil and productive and not just being mean.
Yeah.
But all right. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.